I'm going to be flat out blunt. You got screwed in a big way. Tell us
It
how.
hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm here to tell my story, and I can smile, I can laugh about it now. It still hurts. Just doing my taxes, I had to relive the horror and
Oh,
of
geez.
putting a tax loss together. But I lost $200,000 in a scam, and it was in crypto.
Welcome, everybody, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and this is going to be a great show for me. I don't know if a lot of you know, of course, you know, I'm a tech guy, but I also like crypto, and I played with crypto for the last 10 years. As everybody, I wish I bought it back 10 years ago, but we don't look back, we look forward. But we're going to talk about well, it's a great story for you. It ends up being a great story, but the story itself is very negative and a tough one. But I appreciate my guest telling the story. But let's start with a positive note. Here's your gratitude for today. Your potential is endless. Don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise. Boy, is this perfect for this podcast today. You all have potential. Share it, like my guest is going to today. Ed, welcome to the show.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me come on your show.
You're so welcome. I'm going to be flat out blunt. You got screwed in a big way. Tell us
It
how.
hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm here to tell my story, and I can smile, I can laugh about it now. It still hurts. Just doing my taxes, I had to relive the horror and
Oh,
of
geez.
putting a tax loss together. But I lost $200,000 in a scam, and it was in crypto, and I wrote a book about it. I actually, when I was in the grief stage, I mean, it really ripped my heart. Nothing like this had happened to me before, and and you've done crypto, and I'd spent about 8 years putting together some crypto that I studied hard, know what each one did. Some of them had done real well. Some of them, had them sitting there, and some of them in exchange, a lot of them in wallets, and I'm here to tell my story. And one reason I am, most people who get scammed don't say a word about it. And there's a security expert that was helping me clean up my computers after the scam. And he said, Ed, I know you're a very good writer. If you'll write a story or a book about this, you will help a lot of people. And when you get scammed for $200,000, you don't want people to know. You're full of guilt and shame, and I am too. I was, and I didn't want anybody to know. And what I found out since I've been telling my story, people will come up to me and they tell me how they got scammed or how their wife got scammed. And it's so prevalent out there, and nobody is telling the story. I looked for a book on the internet where it could help me. And there's books out there, but somebody telling their own story I couldn't find anywhere. So I said, I'll write the book.
Yeah.
And so here I am, Steve, telling the story here on the podcast. The book is called Crypto Con, My 200K Nightmare. And I told you before, I'm actually changing the title. So you can still go to Crypto Con, or you can go to my200knightmare.com. And I did a seminar online seminar with Jack Canfield. Are you aware who Jack Canfield is?
Absolutely.
Well,
Chicken soul. It's soup for the chicken soul. I know
yeah, chicken soup for the soul. And
that.
he put a whole series out. And now he's sold over 500 million books. I mean, incredible. And he said, he'd read my book. He said, Ed, I really like your book. And, it's a real valuable document, but I can help you with the title. So I know he sold a lot more books than I have, at least at this time. and
Yeah.
and he was telling me the title Crypto Con said people who don't do crypto, it's going to turn them off. And the people who do crypto, then, they're going to say it's calling crypto a con game. And so, it's not getting your, he said, your message is for any financial scam. Your message and your story will help people. And so he said, you got your title, it's your subtitle. It's My 200K Nightmare. And we came up with the subtitle to that. So now, and I'm in the process, even as we're speaking, but everybody can go to my200knightmare.com and we can still get the book, but the new covers are coming out. And he's got what he said about my book. He's given me permission to put on the front cover. And
Nice.
so the cover now says My 200K Nightmare, 10 Ways to Avoid Financial Scams I Wish I'd Known. So that's my new title. And I thank Jack for going over that with me and giving me his expertise. I went to my team to help put the book together and the publisher. And I said, Jack Canfield would like a different title. I said, what do you think? And they said, I think he sold a lot more books than you. We better listen to what he says. So
love that. Well, let's dive into the story. I know people are anxious. Tell us that story. What happened?
Well, as I said, I'm not new to crypto. I thought I was very good on being security and security wise. I actually did my crypto on, I just used one computer. I wouldn't go to a website or do crypto on my phone. I did always, on one certain computer. So I wouldn't go, I wouldn't go surfing or anything on that computer. I just wanted it clean for crypto. And I thought I was very secure. And then I had some, what happened is on a Valentine's Day, 2025. And like everything, you got things on your mind. It's a Friday afternoon. And I was actually getting my taxes together, get to my accountant and get some tax information there. And a phone call rang around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, mid-afternoon. And they were just said, this is calling from Google. Your account is frozen. And we just, we want you to know somebody's trying to get into your Google account. And we frozen it. And I said, I don't believe you're from Google. And I give the detailed story in my book, but I went through about 30 minutes with this person and they sent all kind of emails. And finally, I said, I don't believe you're from Google. And, I should have hung up the phone. So first, right now, if anybody ever does that, Google's not going to call you. So you ever get a phone call, hang it up, tell them to stick it in their ear or whatever. But about emails, but sending me everything, said Google, everything looked perfect. It was all this AI generated scam stuff. But it convinced me. Finally, he said, well, look at your phone. Said, if we were to send you a message on YouTube, would that make you feel more, that we are who we say we are? And I knew Google on YouTube, and when I do things on Google, a lot of times security, they'll say, read your YouTube. We'll send you a message on YouTube. I know Google does that. So I said, yeah, that'd make me feel better. And somehow, I don't know how they did it, whatever, you're a cyber guy, you may figure it out, but they sent a message on YouTube. And it had 3 circles, and they said, you need to do, tell me what the numbers are, and they told me what numbers to pick. And anyway, they got into my system. I didn't realize it, but they said, all we want you to do is have a temporary password and we'll activate your account. And they gave me a temporary password and they hung up. That's all you need to do. Okay, I thought, well, good. They're not trying to scam me, not trying to do anything. I said, I guess that's legit enough. And it took about an hour to do all that, but I hung up and again, everything was doing fine, going good. About an hour later, I got a phone call. Okay, now you're a cyber guy, and people don't do cryptocurrency. I had some money or coins, crypto coins on the Coinbase exchange. And I know Coinbase says we will never call you. I know that. And got a call and they said, we're Coinbase asset protection. And then that put up a red flag, but I said, no, they're asset protection. And what they did, they said, they knew the exact number. They said, are you moving your 1,999 chain link tokens? I said, no, that's not me. And they said, well, somebody's trying to get your 1,999 chain link tokens. And to me, that was not public knowledge. Nobody was supposed to know how many chain link tokens I had on Coinbase. And that made me it made me more trustworthy because they knew exactly what I had. And then, but I told them, I don't believe you. And again, we went through the same rigmarole. They sent me emails and different things saying we are who we say we are, and we're trying to protect you. And what I'm telling, I put this in my book, what happened, but also tell you 10 ways scammers use it, and what happens. And it goes back to a proverb everybody knows. Pride goeth before a fall. And it puts you, what the scammers do to put you in a fight or flight method. Now, I'm a dentist also. I'm a dentist. I get called Doc Holliday. That's why I use that as a pen name. And because the original Doc Holliday was a dentist out in the West. But so I've had that nickname ever since dental school. But as I'm telling my story, what I later found out, whenever the scammers most of the time want to put fear in your life. And when you get fear, and I knew those 1,999 chain link coins at that time were worth about $38,000. And I feared for those coins. And when they said somebody's trying to move them, and I knew it wasn't me, that put fear in my life. And what happens when you have fear, you get in a fight or flight mode, then your brain puts out adrenaline or epinephrine. It makes it naturally. And when you go into that fight or flight mode, and it's a good thing, God made us that way as humans, but every human has that, but it shuts down your logical thinking. Your brain is not thinking rationally or logically. Your brain is beginning to be to protect mode, to save life, to all your energy, everything in your brain is saying, okay, we got to protect. And that fear causes that. And I'm not giving excuses. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened to me. I made some bad choices, bad mistakes. I shouldn't have been talking to them on the phone even. But that's what I feared for those coins. And then in that rationalization of the brain, and again, scammers know this, they use that, put fear in your life, your brain begins to think that the people on the phone are your friends. They are helping you. Because they say somebody's trying to get it, and it's like, I don't want those people to get what I have. And again, they sent the emails look just like they were real emails. And then they finally said, look, can you just respond to any email that you ever sent to Coinbase? And, go back and look back the past year, anything that you sent to Coinbase, and I'd sent Coinbase some emails. They said, just respond and we'll respond right back. But it made me feel like they were legit. Of course, that would be easy for anybody breaking your account and do that.
Yeah.
But finally, after about an hour, I felt like they were trying to help me. And they told me, we don't want you to take your coins off Coinbase. All we want to do is move your coins from a Coinbase exchange to a Coinbase wallet. And, it made me feel more comfortable that they weren't trying to, they just said, move it to the Coinbase wallet. Mm-hmm. But I played right in their hand because I said, well, I don't have a Coinbase wallet. And I didn't. So they said, well, we're here to help. And you know what they did? They set up the Coinbase wallet, my name and all that, but they said, let's just move these chain link coins. And said, we need to move that Ethereum. They don't want to move all the coins. And then later, what I found out, they'd broken into my tax. I got a Coinly account. People don't do crypto, but the Coinly account, you give a API address, or they can't change anything in your wallet, but it keeps up your wallet. So it comes tax time, it's easy to get your tax reports together. Mm-hmm. And so they knew what I had. They knew how many wallets I had. I didn't know that at the time. Again, in the book, I give the details, and I'm just giving you the short version here.
Yeah.
But they did finally, we were there. I was moving my coins off Coinbase, thinking I was protecting them, and then they said, somehow whoever's trying to get those coins are now going into your wallets. Again, they knew what wallets I had in my coin because they'd broken into my, my Coinly account.
Right.
And so they said, well, we need to protect your MetaMask. We need to protect your, the Exodus wallet. We need to protect. And I had about 6 or 7 different wallets. And the thing was, I was telling them about the MetaMask, and then I was telling them, no, I don't want to do that. I knew I didn't have much in a Kraken wallet or something. But as we'd gone through this, finally, I did not give them permission. When going to, all of a sudden I saw wallets popping up on my screen. And then I say they, I don't say one person can do it, but I thought we were dealing with Coinbase, and they did try to get in Gemini. And I will say, my heart goes out to Gemini, because whatever their security is, they got in there. And I had some Ethereum that was staked, for those who know crypto, and it was sort of locked up. They tried to unstake it. And then Gemini shut down the whole thing. They shut my account down. Now, Coinbase shut my account down after $75,000 went out. Yes. I wish they shut it down quicker.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Well, 200,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, but what happened? They got my wallets, and that's where it, added up to the 200,000.
Yeah, the multiple wallets. In the book, you said you have 10 tips, whatever. Tease us with one of the tips that you learned from this whole scenario, and then they have to go back and read the book for the other 9. Yeah,
well, I appreciate you giving me a chance to do that, Steve. They are some tips, and you won't necessarily find them anywhere else. And I don't say this is the greatest crypto book or greatest book to protect you from scams, but it is a great resource, and that's why Jack Canfield liked it so much. But one of the things nobody does, we will do fire drills, we'll do tornado drills, we'll do active shooter drills. Nobody does a scam drill. And you need to practice being scammed. And I talk about how you can do that. And even on my website, at my 200knightmare.com, there's a free game. You can go on there, and it'll give you a chance to have a timer. And that's another thing, when the scammers have you, once they got you locked in, it's like they make you make quick decisions, and they are experienced thieves, and they know the human condition, and they are slick, and they are good. And now and some of them, a lot of them are out of the country. They don't fear anybody, and scammers do so well because very few get caught, and they just have a small price to pay. And sometimes they're sitting in a third world country, Steve, where they might not be making it $5 a week. So, the scam Americans, look, someone had someone on the podcast talking about why do you scam people? Well, said, I get $5 a week work here, but I can make $100 a week scamming Americans. Americans are rich. They deserve to be scammed. Yeah. And, they have no moral values about scamming Americans.
No, they don't. My guest, Vicky, who I mentioned to, I'm going to introduce you to, said she actually talked to the FBI, and there's guys driving around Lamborghinis in Africa doing exactly, and it could be one of your guys. It's crazy. We're coming to the end here. Why? Because this is doing business with a servant's heart. Your service to this is, hey, it's happened to me. You don't want to happen to others. What advice would you give somebody listening, just not to get scammed, whether it's crypto or relationship or whatever it is? What's the best piece of advice you can give?
Watch for the red flags. When you think something's not right, it's always okay to hang up the phone, call someone else, call a friend. Don't get wrapped into something where it's just you and somebody else. Always call timeout. It's okay. If it's important, it can wait another day. So don't ever hesitate to stop and say, no, I'm going to get somebody. I got a friend I got to get in and talk to. That's the thing. That's the most important thing. It's okay to stop. If it's legitimate, you can do it tomorrow or next day.
Yeah, if you would have stopped, yeah, 200,000, a lot of money. A lot of people that make it 200,000 in their lifetime, let alone, one shot
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I love call timeout. Audience, great piece of advice. Anything somebody call timeout. Say, hey, I'm not going to talk to you today. I'm calling the timeout. And like you said, get advice because they'll call you back. I mean, they're ruthless, as
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They'll keep going, right?
They will call back.
Yes, and it's a lot of money. I mean, if it's somebody in Africa, 200,000, you just change their life, and it's not right. But those type of people are going to be coming after you, and it's happening way more now today's, like you
Steve,
said.
I'll tell everybody, and again, I go into details on the book. It did hit hard,
Yep.
but I had to forgive and forget. It's hard to forget. That's why I wrote the book. But I am doing well, and I love life. And when I look at the big frame of life, God has been good to me, and I hate that happened. But I do want to educate others so that scammers will not be as effective as they are now. That's my goal.
And you heal every time you help somebody that's read the book or you talk to, you're healing. And that's the powerful thing in the servant's heart. You can take that tragedy, turn it into a positive, which you've done so well. Before we close, I like to get to know you a little more personally.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to your area where you live. You're going to pick your favorite restaurant, any restaurant. I'm going to reserve a table for me and you to eat. But I want you to invite 3 people, whether dead or alive, who've been completely influential in your life. I think I know one of them already, but who are those 3 people? And then more importantly, for me, you're going to order food for the table. So what food would you be ordering?
Well, Steve, I'd like for you to eat at a place called Nukes. And Nukes is around in the South. I don't know but they have, and I love their salads. And I would say get a Nukes favorite salad, and I would let everybody order whatever they want. They have steak, other good foods, fish, but I would get a Nukes favorite salad for myself. Let you order what you want. I'd love to have Jack Canfield there. He's helped me with this book. I'd also love to have there's a dentist that was my mentor and helped me, and his grandmother and my mother wrote books back in the 1960s, little books, children's book. And he always encouraged me in dentistry, and he encouraged me to write my books. Now, he's passed away now, just recently, but that's Norris Howe. I'd have Norris Howe there. And then the other person I would love to have would be, he said 3, and that's why, that'd be hard to figure it out. But I would have my wife there because she would be able to keep me contained, I guess. She'd keep me honest. And she's been the light of my life. And there's so many things I could not do without her organization, her support, her inspiration, and just the children we've raised together. And so she's those are the 3 people I'd have there.
Well, nothing better than a great wife. Nothing better. I got a great wife too, and I completely agree with you. And Ed, thanks for telling your story. I know people listening going to want to connect with you. How can they reach out to you? Give us the websites and any personal way they can connect with you.
I will say real quick, one of the hardest things I ever did was to go down and tell my wife I just lost $200,000.
Oh, yeah.
That was tough. She was good.
But she's still with you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of things she would have liked bought with that. But you can go to my website at my200knightmare.com, and there's a place you can contact me. And also Hatchie Books, my novels. I do my novels. They're under Hatchie Books, HATCHIE, HatchieBooks.com. And there's ways to contact me there. Love to talk to you. Love to do other podcasts. I speak at colleges, universities, whoever have me to tell my story, because statistics you forget, stories stick.
What a great way to end the show. And audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And show is perfect. You've talked to somebody that's been scammed. Have them listen to Ed for 10, 15 minutes. You just gave them a gift. You could have impacted. And they reach out to Ed, and Ed maybe helps them or talk, whatever it may be. But what a great journey that is, because we're going to run into people getting scammed, and Ed's really out there helping people, supporting people, and really helping them heal. And I would thank him so much for that. So with that being said, me and Ed want to thank everybody for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.